What's going on? I want to address the violent weekend we had here in Chicago. The total is 11 people dead, 70 wounded just over the weekend. I think the total was something like 5 people killed and 35 wounded within 3 hours here in Chicago. I want to address the problems in the community, but I also want to talk about solutions in the community because nobody is talking solutions. I also want to bring you guys Eddie Johnson's press conference. I want to show you guys the footage outside of one hospital that a lot of the wounded and the dead family members was outside crying. As you can see right there, there's a lot of footage out there of them crying. I also want to come back to that bait truck because I did that video on Facebook and YouTube. I put it on both platforms. And a lot of people outside of my community, oh, see, you shouldn't be stealing, shouldn't be stealing, shouldn't be stealing. I want to address you guys. I want to address you guys because where did this violence start? How does it coincide with that bait truck? And how does it coincide with this? A lot of people just said, oh, they're savages, just throw them to the wolves. Well, understand this. Once those teenagers get a felony on their record, now they can't get a job. Now, what alternative do they have? Their options are selling drugs and causing this violence. That's the only thing they have left. And that, putting the felony on them young, like the police was trying to do, that will guarantee this violence. Those are the people doing that crime. Those are the people doing this. That's where this violence comes from. Now, a lot of you say, oh, see, if you wasn't stealing, you wasn't stealing. But if you go up north with something, now, people up north, they have money. So they don't need to steal out of trucks with shoes or whatever was in that truck. Or steal a car, because they already have cars. They were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, so they don't need to steal. But if you go up north and drop off bags of cash, oh, I guarantee those will get stolen. But why don't you see them trying to set up their kids? You know that children do crazy stuff, with or without two-parent households. You know that children do crazy-ish out there. I was a child once, too. I did stupid and crazy stuff. Now, even I have enough money to buy a laptop. But if somebody dropped a whole box off of computers and laptops, I'll be tempted too. If you drop that off up north, something, they not stealing cars up north, but I guarantee you drop bags of cash. You drop a truck off full of cash up north and leave it unlocked. I guarantee you will see that stolen. So if you drop up north and in Mount Greenwood, something they will be tempted by, especially the kids. But you don't see that. I would guarantee there's something they will steal. And y'all prey on the poor because the poor don't have money to buy shoes, clothes, laptops, and barely eating. So they're more tempted to steal. And if you put felonies on them, just like these police were trying to do and want to do and know that they can do, then put felonies on them earlier, you'll guarantee their destruction because they can't get a job. They would have to end up selling drugs. Now you got to carry a weapon to protect yourself on those street corners. You are guaranteed they will start this violence and have to shoot each other. Then now one of your gang members, one of your fellow drug members got shot. You ended up retaliating, or you got to protect yourselves and shoot and kill. And you could guarantee this violence. That's why I was so upset with that so-called bait truck in Chicago. And that's why you guys should be too. Because now, if my neighbor can't find a job because he has a felony, whose house is he going to come rob? Mine. And can you blame him? He has to feed his family by all means. So I'm going to get to that. I'm going to bring you guys a few of the footages of outside the hospital, the press conference, a few other things. This is my life in a shot. So
from all of the killings last night?
Now, that's just one of the scenes outside of Stroger Hospital, where a lot of the wounded, a lot of the dead was taken. What solutions do we have to get out of this mess? Where does this problem start? I want you guys to watch the Chicago Way documentary. I will put a link underneath it. I outline where this problem start, where does it end. I want to talk about group economics, because one thing that a lot of our activists are, a lot of the people 50 plus, don't get me wrong, I'm proud of the activists that are out there trying to put their feet to the ground and come to a solution. However, those tactics that we had in the 50s and the 60s or the 60s, we must change. We must stop begging the mayor, the governor to give us, and do for ourselves. Create our own jobs like everyone else does. Stop shopping. We spend 98% of our money outside our community. Then we beg, hey, give us a job. And they like, no. We got to beg them. We spend our money in their community. They give their people their own jobs. And then tell us, get out of my community. We don't want you working here. If we shop in the businesses in our own community, even a lot of people say, oh, see, we don't have none. We only have one business. Okay, well, patronize that one. If everybody, even just 50% of the people, patronize that one business turns to 5 businesses literally within a week. If 100% of that community went to that business every day, that business should be able to open up 2 or 3 more businesses. And guess what? They're hiring within the community. That gives these youngsters jobs. Also, Super Eddie Johnson is going to address the violence. Of course, one of the things he's going to say is parents need to be parents. Where does these kids come from? Most of the kids killing are coming from single-parent households. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing in this video. That is our biggest problem, is single-parent households. How long has this problem been going on? Since 1965. What was introduced in 1965 that turned our community into single-parent households? Welfare is something we must address, because before welfare, 91% of our communities had 2-parent households. Now, 73 to 91% have 1-parent household. We must address that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, not even for a second, because our children, I am a videographer out of Chicago. I watch parents get to the scene where their children are laying there dead. It's a lot of blame to go around. One thing that needs to happen is that they say no to get rid of the box. And what that means is get rid of jobs that you have to mark a felony. Because once you commit a crime and you serve your debt to society by going to jail, you get out, you can't find a job. So what else do you have to do besides sell drugs, rob, and create this havoc? That's where this... Why would you go to school if you got a felony? And you know you're not going to be able to get a job anyway. A lot of these kids are like, why go to school? I'm not going to be able to get a job anyway. So they're stuck to having sell drugs. We don't support the business in our community. We don't own no businesses. This is why I look at a lot of these celebrities as pure clowns. Look at Mayweather. He spent $18 million on a watch. Spent another $5 million on a car he left at the airport. Didn't want it, didn't even need it. He'd rather flush his money down the toilet than to hand it back to the community that he come from. Don't get me wrong. I don't know anything that he's done, and maybe he's doing some things behind the scenes. But however, I look at it as if our celebrities, we are way too flashy and stunting, fronting, buying stuff we don't need, don't want. We buying Benzes, Their celebrities are buying businesses. Have you ever seen a Chinese millionaire in a hotel room with all his money spread around, buying Bentleys, Benzes, $18 million watches? Yeah. Yeah. You see them doing that? There was a Chinese billionaire that invested in the businesses in Chinatown. But you never see them invest $18 million in a watch. Come on, man. And countless other celebrities that just spend money like it's growing on trees to showboat and to show off for everybody else. We the only people buying businesses instead of buying Benzes instead of businesses. We the only ones. We are the only ones. We are alone in that category. If they are buying businesses, best believe they have plenty money coming in. Plenty money coming in. A lot of celebrities, man, understand. If you're a boxer or in the sports, that money is only so long. You got to let that money last you until you retire and then some. But what you do with your money is your money. But however, if we don't come together as a community and look at it like that collectively and start, a lot of these celebrities, one thing that gets me is this. Like they say, D Rose, he sent money, and Chance the Rapper. They send money to like children to go to school. That's cool. That's good. However, now those kids, you know, get an education. Who pays? Who gets money for that education? They do. Who do they got to go on their knees, hands and knees, begging for a job? To their community. We need to start investing in businesses. Start a Wall Street in our community. Start somewhere where we can make that money multiply and come back to our communities. I commend, don't get me wrong, hats off to LeBron James, no question. D Rose, a lot of other celebrities, I don't know off top, but they give back to school and charities, this, that, and the other. However, come on, man. When are we going to invest in businesses to where our felons could come out of jail and go get a job down the street? When can we invest in our children? These children that are dying and killing each other can go down the street to the corner store and get a job. We let everybody come in our community, get rich, and go back to their community. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? This is what we don't do. I'm going to bring you guys Eddie Johnson's, what he has to say.
The Chicago Police Department cannot do this alone. Mary Emanuel has made significant investments in mentoring at-risk youth and creating job opportunities in some of our most challenged neighborhoods. But he can't do it alone. We need everyone, especially our judicial partners, to start making repeat gun offenders feel the real consequences for their actions. We need our governor to sign a bill that makes it more difficult for habitual armed offenders to obtain weapons. We need the community and community leaders to work with us. We need parents to be parents. We need neighborhoods to be neighborhoods. You all know who these individuals are. They come to your homes every day, sleep with you every night. Grandparents, parents, siblings, significant others. You know who they are. We also need those involved with the community to mentor our youth. As a department, we work really hard and invested countless man hours and resources to identify individuals that are disproportionately causing violence in certain parts of the city. These shootings are not random. They are fueled by...
Now, understand this. Understand this. So, he has it right. We need parents to be parents. Most of the children are coming from single-parent homes. We got a lot of men that are not taking care of their responsibilities. And this is one of the reasons. If you wonder why I said welfare, welfare allows. And what's happening, I'm not even going to get into that just yet. But however, he's saying that the killers live with you. Everybody in the community knows. What's up with the police only able to solve not even 30% of the murders? And in Chicago, something is very wrong. Something is very off. Those police officers need to all be fired. New officers need to be hired. Because something is very off. How could you not? There's a dude on YouTube that can explain who all shot who all killed who. People on the street know more about who shot who. Don't get me wrong. Everybody need to say something, speak up. Everybody need to speak up against the violence and say something. But however, these police officers, I don't think that they're doing enough to me. Because one thing that I think that if you allow one person to get away with murder on this side, then they get away with murder. Then once they get away with one murder, they know they're going to be committed 2 and 3, 4 more times. Then everybody else see they got away with it. Then they start to commit murders. If the Chicago police, they just step back and say, okay, y'all have at it. Since y'all protesting us, we're going to protest you. So we're going to let y'all be. And let y'all just murder each other. We're not even going to solve that crime. That's what I believe is going on. That's my opinion. That's what I think. That they're saying, hey, you know what? Because more people on the street know what. There's a dude on YouTube that's saying, oh yeah, he killed him. He killed him. Everybody on the street know. The police, the only people that could pretend, oh, I don't know who did that murder. You can find more people who murdered who on YouTube than the police could say, oh, no, I don't know. I can't solve no murders. Not even 30%. Even in 2016, this is like the 3rd year in a row. Not even 30%. Not even 30% of the murders are solved. So how about we start there too? Don't get me wrong. We need to start at the home. We need to start in group economics. But there's a big problem in the breakdown in the community and the police. That's why that bait car hit home. Because why give the children, why not prevent the children from getting felonies so they can get jobs and won't have to be on these streets robbing, killing, and stealing? Why Rob Emanuel investing up north in Mount Greenwood instead of investing in the west side and the northwest side and the south side? That's why people are mad at the mayor. The mayor puts 10 times more money up north and in Mount Greenwood for some reason. Gee, I wonder why. Then on the west side and the south side. He closes 50 schools on the south side and just the west side. Gee, I wonder why. Then those schools close, property value drop. Now you got to rent your home out. Property value drop. Now you got to foreclose on your home. Now you can't afford. Then they put red light cameras in our community. Robbing the poor. So now the poor can't even. We got red light cameras, speed trap cameras. Every trap in the world to keep the poor poor. So you tax the poor more disproportionately. We're paying more taxes than they are up north. You tax them out. You ticket them, give them way more tickets. Look how many speed traps. Every single corner in our community is it a speed trap, a red light camera, ticket them, rob them. Keep the poor poor. Therefore, they can't afford to buy their children cars and clothes, education. Therefore, they end up with the felony, can't find a job, and that's an easy cycle to keep that cycle. And look how many jobs they have. They are police officers getting billions of dollars, judges, you name it, coroners. Look how many people are getting paid. Now they're killing each other so they can't find a job. Felonies, more jobs, goes on. And this cycle will continue. Will continue. People in Chicago, honestly, need to just leave. Just leave and hang it up. It's so, we are the most corrupt politicians in the United States. Most corrupt. The police officers, to me, are the most corrupt. I think that was actually deemed fact, too. The communities are just in ruins. No job opportunities. No, the mayor, the governor is not going to invest in the south side and west side. Just give that up. Stop begging them to invest and invest in your community yourself. Honestly, if you live on the south and west side, just leave. Just leave, man. And we just got to charge Chicago to the game. and go to another. I know people don't want to be ran out of their city, their community, but if you live in the South and West Side, man, it's just time just to roll and regroup. Anyway, I want you guys to like, comment, let me know what you think about this video, good or bad. Peace, peace.